has been already a pain in the ass to do. It started out pretty bad, but in the middle it was getting pretty good, and I realized, oh, I forgot to mention this, that, and that, and it wasn't organized at all. So for the most part, especially for the collected editions, I have them in perfect organized form. So I'll be like, oh, okay, this one's up next. So this is the one we talk about now. You know, it's all in order. But I don't think I grabbed the Marvel Masterworks. I don't think I did. But this video is going through all the different kinds of collected editions. Not just like hardcovers, like soft, like the complete collection, you know, the actual collected editions, but the different types of hardcovers too that you'll expect to get. I don't know why I said that so awkwardly. That you can find, like, you know, the regular comic books, single issues, the things that are making comic stores go extinct because they rely on that and that alone for some people. Sorry, I just got distracted because I thought that Trinity book. If you watched my video last night, the reading recommendations one, you'll know that Trinity did not go off my little fucking catalog of my shit that's in my library checked out slot. Whatever you want to call that. Everything else was gone. I returned everything, pretty much. And that too, that wasn't off. Everything else was. So I thought I had seen it for a second there. Okay, so let's go over the smaller ones. Now these are the cheapest ones you can get. They're $1, and they're reprints of classic stories that they want you to get the book of. I do have the Huntress one, but I'm not going to show it because it requires me to have to go out of frame. That's not the best thing to do. And this Wolverine one, same thing there. It's a collector. It's actually an omnibus of this guy. There's a one and done Wolverine and the X-Men omnibus. So like, hey, to be continued in this collection. So and that's a very good way of doing that, from in my opinion. But they don't get to $3.99. $3.99 is the cheapest you can get a book of an ongoing series, or the cheapest you can get a facsimile edition, which, like the True Believers and Dollar Comics from DC, collects reprints older stories, but has all the advertisements in them. There's a DC one that's 68 pages. I don't have it with me right now. That's $3.99, and you'll see one for Marvel that's $4.99. So this, and it's almost always first appearances. This is the first appearance of Falcon. This came out right before Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So they also did it by that too. And they do True Believers for that too. Like Black Widow, when Black Widow was supposed to come out, they had a bunch of True Believers of older, reprinted Black Widow stories. And then a Daredevil one that she appeared in, Random Ass one. I don't think it was even her first Daredevil comic she appeared in. Captain America is the first John Walker U.S. agent that came out right before Falcon and Winter Soldier 2, and then these two came out right before WandaVision. This is first Wanda Maximoff, and this is the first Vision. Both are facsimile editions. Yeah, I wish I had the first printing of both those. They would be in Mylars. They would be in CGC. They would have already gone off to CGC. And then this is the second full appearance of Wolverine. And this one, they actually did 181 too. And then they did 182 after, which I found very funny. Where did I put that? I don't know where I put it. Okay, so now let's go over your standard first issue comic. Well, I'm going to the first issue. For DC, they're almost always $3.99. I think they're always $3.99. Unless they're longer. Like if it's 30 pages, if the next issue 2 is 30 pages and $3.99, then this is gonna be $3.99 too. This is an exception because this is a mini series, but it's always gonna look like this for your regular $3.99 book. 23 pages on average, I'd say. Same for Marvel, but $4.99 because it's the first issue tax, which I'll coin that phrase. It's a first issue tax, so that's why it goes up in price. This one at least makes sense why it's $5, because this is 38 pages, and it feels thicker, and I think the paper quality is better for the cover. I think inside too. For Marvel, they use the same interior for their exterior, you know, for cover, same interior too, as it was a cover. But I've heard that the ink can come off on your fingers while you're reading the comic. Like, not even, like, rubbing off of it. You just read the comic, it comes off on your fingers. I've never had that happen to me. So if you think that's a deal breaker for you, know that does not happen. Let me try and get this in focus. That work? Not to get so much glare, I mean. Then you get, oh yeah, here's the, never mind. Oh, sorry, here's the, other, see, 68 pages, $5. But then you'll get anniversary issues. And these are definitely longer than your average $3.99 book. This one's $6.99. It's giant size. It's king size Conan. I think it's like 53 pages. This should have been $5.99, not $6.99. But you can see that it's a king size book. A bunch of creators come on and do Conan stories to celebrate his 50th anniversary in comics. In Marvel. It's celebrating 50 years of Conan at Marvel. Even though I think he went to Dark Horse in the 2000s, so you have to factor that out, right? Maybe they did. I don't think they did, though. Sorry, this is really out of focus. Not out of focus, the glare. I'm making it worse. Yeah, the iPads are not the best. There you got that. Get it off. Get it off. Alright, so this is the Amazing Spider-Man one-shot. This is a bunch of creators, too, creating one story. It's one ongoing story. One full story. A bunch of creators are, like, it's, like, passed off. Like, you know, like, back in school, they're like, start a story, and you pass it to your classmate, and it's like, okay, I'm going to continue this story in my own way. So this might be just as good as those are, which is probably not very. I have very good reluctant to read that Amazing Spider-Man because it's so damn long. I don't like reading longer books. I will, obviously. I have a bunch of longer books. It's just, like, I like to, I actually don't know why I haven't read that Spider-Man one. I'm also on that other I'm also on another Spider-Man book anyways. And if I'm reading Spider-Man, I want to be reading that Spider-Man book anyways. Okay, so then you'll get the 100-page 80th anniversary issues from DC. They've had one for every single character, I think. I am already... Okay, so let's go through this first. Actually, it's a very good segue. Alright, so the 100-page super spectacular of the characters. They've had one for Joker. They started out with Robin, I believe. Made a little crease here and I'm really pissed off. Actually, it's gone now. They had one for Green Arrow most recently. Catwoman. Celebrating all of their 80th anniversaries. 100 pages, a bunch of creators coming, new and old. Like, really, really old. Like, Mike Grail came back to write a Green Arrow story, and I don't think he'd written Green Arrow since the 80s, or early 90s. And this is a one-shot one for 100 pages. One-shot 100-page book for $10. Oh, that's what I'm doing wrong, I see now. Gotta block it off. For 100 pages, for $10. 100 pages for $10. It's a one-shot. Kind of a weird one that they did. I don't think they've done that for many of them. But then you'll get, like, okay, so I'll do that after. But then, for the same price, 20 less issues, and I think this is only because it's different characters, or different character tax, I guess you could say. You get, like, themed, like, this is Valentine's Day special, Summer special, Halloween special, and then New Year special. They did one for DC Pride, but other than that, they've just been doing, like, they don't do it yearly, they do, like, random ass shit now. And then you get to the 100-page then you get the 100-page giants, but these ones are collecting reprints too, along with the new stories. So 5 action-packed stories. Okay, so some are new and some are old. This one collects issue 13 of Flash, and then I'm not going to go through each one, obviously. I'm just going to give you an example. It's just to give you an example. Blue Beetle #1 and Green Arrow Rebirth #1. 2 out of the 3 are really good because Rebirth, you can start right out with Green Arrow Rebirth and start right out with that one as your first Green Arrow one. Be perfect and perfectly fine. And then Blue Beetle, same diff there. Flash 13, you really can't do that. You're going to want to start from issue 1. And what I think is going on is that Flash 13 starts a new storyline. But even then, really weird they didn't just do Flash #1. No reason not to. They had the ability to do it. And they didn't. But then you'll get the anniversary issues. And I'm glad I have these all in the same spot. For the most part. I don't know where... There it is. Okay. So, we got one for Flash. I don't have all of them. But this one is new and old creators coming to write small-ass flash stories. Like, small-ass being like 5 pages each. Because it's 96 pages and a bunch of stories in one book for $10. It's 96 pages, so it's maybe 80 pages. So it's kind of short for the amount of they're getting for, especially when compared to Detective Comics 1027. This is 1,000 issues since Batman's first appearance in Detective Comics 27. I think all of you should know that by now, especially if you're, especially the ones that are into comics like I am. But this one's $10 for 144 pages. I think all you can see that. Again, new and old creators. And I'm not saying old creators like the oldest living Batman writer. I'm saying like older writers, like Greg Rucka writes a story. He wrote Batman run back in the day. That's what I mean by new and old. And I also mean like old too. Like, it could be older. It's just I don't know. I'm not gonna go through every single creator that wrote the story for Batman. That's not what I'm doing. Then you get one from Marvel Comics celebrating 1,000 issues. This is really weird. It wasn't like Marvel Comics was an ongoing series recently. Detective Comics and Action Comics were, and then you had 1001. And also all these stories kind of sucked. At least for Detective and Action Comics, there was at most 10 creators coming on to write stories. This one has like 100. I swear to God, it's 100. Or actually it'd be 50. I think it's 50 because it's 100 pages. So yeah. And they definitely hurt it because you only got to write two pages for one story. And it was like, how could you do that? No, you can't. Some of them did well, others not so much. Okay, so I think we're done with... Oh, no, we're not done with that. We're not done with floppies yet. And these are all floppies. Then you get what I like to call... So yeah, what were these? Oh, and then you get like cardstock variants for $5 for $1 more. Because it's thicker paper for the cover. Sometimes they do say it's a 6-issue miniseries right on the cover. Other times they don't. I don't know why I didn't do for that one. Here's an older version of a dollar comic. There's more 100-page giants I don't need to show. So yeah, that's it for that one. So then we go to album covers. Album vinyl covers, as I like to call them. Especially for this one, and this one too. Way longer than, wider than your average comic book. Especially for this one, for more. Because it's wider, but bigger artwork. That really helps out the artwork. Okay, so let's do this. Collected editions. So here is your standard size for your DC and your Marvel. Not oversized hardcovers, same size as your average comic book. And collecting, on average, 5 issues for $15.99. But this one, for whatever reason, was $19.99. And he's older. Thank God I got it for $10. You can get this same book for free on Prime if you have Prime Reading. I think I get a Kindle. The app. Get the Kindle app. If you get a Kindle, it's black and white for comics. And Justice League, this one collects 7 issues for $17. Which I don't understand. Which makes sense, actually. On average, for Marvel, it's 5 issues at the least. 5 issues for $15.99. DC, it's 6 issues for $16.99. Or even 5 issues for $16.99. Sometimes DC likes to skimp out. And sometimes it's more, obviously. It can't be more. Like this one is 6 issues, but it's $17.99, so a lot more expensive. Not as much as the Guardians of the Galaxy one. Image is always, for their volume 1s, are always, almost always $9.99 for their volume 1s. After that, it's $16.99. This is an original graphic novel, but let's say this collects the first 5 or 6. Sometimes 7, it's still $9.99. Like the Safe Sex one has 7 issues for $10. And then here's the Wonder Comics for DC, same diff there. $6.99, first 6 issues. Oh, this is so bad. I don't know why the glare is so damn bad. Maybe if I turn the light, it'll be better? I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so... No, it's not. If anything, it's worse. Okay, so I went through those. These are just more. So this is an example of another... It's a $17.99er. But... Sorry, $17.99er. It only collects the first 6 issues. This one I did get for full price, but this one I didn't, thank God, because it went $24.99. And the only reason why I did that is because it's 7 issues. It's like, wow, that's a bit. So sometimes Marvel goes way too crazy with their pricing, and it's like, really, it's a bit too expensive. For miniseries, DC likes to jack up the price to $19.99, which is fair. It does look thicker than the way thicker than the Justice League omnibus, way thicker than the Justice League Volume 1. Yeah, it has one more issue, but it almost looks like it has two more issues. So I think it's double sized. Each issue was double sized too. So that makes sense why it's $19.99. It feels like a $19.99 book. Because it feels just as big as this one, which is also $19.99. Which these are the book ones. 2 volumes, so I'm just gonna say for Marvel, 2 volumes go into one book. I know this looks like it doesn't have. No, okay, good. I thought it's been out of storage. Except plug in the iPad. Oh, this charger is. I hate when I do that. Like I'm like really good sometimes with keeping the charger right on my bed. But then sometimes it gets in the way, so I throw it off the side, and then I forget. I'm like, where's the charger? Oh, wait, it's just at the bottom of the lake. The bottom of the lake. At the bottom of my bed. I guess bottom of the lake. I was trying to over-exaggerate, make it funny, but I just confused everyone. Okay, so it's 2 volumes into one. And IDW, same diff. But IDW was in $19.99, so it's like, oh, what's this book 2? No, it's volume 2. I had Firepower here, whoopsies. So after that, it's $16.99 for a different image, volume 2. It's $16.99 onward. I'll get rid of that. Whoopsies. Okay, so ignore that I said book 2. Let's just say I said book 1 for. So this one is a Marvel premiere. These are discontinued. They don't do these anymore, sadly. And this is a larger image book. It's wider, so it's $19.99 instead of $16.99. That was the only one they had. Okay, so let's go back to book 1. So to reiterate, a book 1 has 2 volumes in one book, for collecting the first 10 issues of Gotham Central. Then you get complete collections, or complete series all in one. This one is both Hard Time series and one oversized softcover. $40, but well worth it. At least for price range. This one's extremely worth it because it's a thick-ass Joe Hill IDW book for $30. I think it's collecting all of his IDW stories besides Lock and Key that were out at the time. I think IDW made Dying is Easy, which came out fairly recently. Definitely after that book came out. Then you get Ultimate Collection, which is complete collections of. This is a complete collection of Ultimate Spider-Man. Sometimes and it's Ultimate Collection, get it? Because it's Ultimate. Haha, very funny. Then you get complete series like with Earth X. It's all of Earth X and one oversized softcover for again oversized being thick, not wide. For $30 actually. More than 12 issues. This one has 12 issues, and this is $30, and this is same price as this one. And this has like at least 14. But this is all of Sheriff of Babylon in one oversized softcover for $30. I should have said thick. And then this is I'm gonna call this Green Lantern by Jeff Johns, the complete collection. You know it's book 1. I'm gonna call it the complete collection. You only need 3 of these, and then you can get volumes 2 and 3 of the omnibus. You don't have to wait for the soft covers to come out, because they'll probably be done with that in 2025. I feel, especially because they're going yearly, so maybe it actually will be 2025. This one collects the first. There's 3 of these collecting Frank Miller's run on Daredevil. Although you have to get the spin-off, you have to get like the Man of Steel one, and you get Born Again, I think, on yourself by yourself. There's a compendium, but a companion omnibus that collects all his other stuff. Guardians of the Galaxy is the first 12, but it's $34.99, pretty thin. It's a great example of a not a rip-off, but just that's the amount you're gonna get for $34.99 on average. There's 12 issues in the complete collection for Marvel. It's gonna cost you $35. This one is 18 and costs you $39.99. I think that's a new price range actually. I don't know about 12 issues. But they have I think that Thor one was like $39.99. It was hardcover, collecting the first 11 issues of the 2018 series. But this one, collecting 20 issues, 2 more issues, is in the Thor one. I think 4, because I think it's 13 to 20, it's 13 to 23, sorry, 24 to 34, and then New Avengers, 13 to 23. So it's 22, right? I'm doing the math right? So like 4 more, but $44.99. That is a pretty expensive price. But then you get the complete collections for Image. Thick-ass books, especially compared to the thicker Marvel one. Sorry to glare. But this guy is $30. The Witchblade one, the Witchblade Volume 2 is way thicker than Volume 1, and it's still $30. It didn't go up in price. I got them both for $25. Actually, I got them all for $25 each. So now let's go over the Epic collections. The Epic collection for Black Widow, even though it's thinner than Conan, you can see it right at the bat, same price, $30. And that's including Conan tax. That's what New Mint Condition coins the phrase as. Conan has gone up though. The average Conan omnibus, the average Conan Epic collection is gonna set you back $44.99. They used to be, even for a thick ass book like this, $34.99. In fact, the reprint I think is more expensive. And then you'll get then you can get like a companion book which collects. This one collects a bunch of one shots from Marvels. There's a Civil War one collecting a lot of the Civil War one shots that came out around the time that the Civil War was coming out in 2007. And then you get what I like to call the let's throw shit at the wall and so comics at the wall, and then whatever one sticks, we're gonna put in the collection. Except for the one rare exception, like with Venom. This collects the first appearance of Venom in the first storyline when Spider-Man got infected by the Venom symbiote. That entire series too, like the first, like if no, in Amazing Spider-Man, not the spin-offs, but you know the best of best, all in one oversized collection for $30. There's a reprint that looks thinner like this. It looks thinner than this, but it's the same. It collects the same amount of stuff. It's really weird. And it also collects material from other books too. So it's like, hey, here's a catch-up. Here's what happened in this issue. We can't collect it here. I don't think it collects it here. It doesn't say. But one of them doesn't collect the entire story. It's like, okay, so here's what happened here. Here's to play catch-up. So even though it doesn't collect it in there, the full story, it cuts like a page, not even, they still catch you up. Now this one also kind of makes sense because there's a lot of key issues of Avengers. Not all of them, but it makes a little bit more sense than that one. Again, then this one collects all of the Avengers issues for Acts of Vengeance. That also makes sense. This one, at least, but then you get something like this. MODOK, while it does collect his first appearance, it's not every MODOK, and it seems to be randomized. But nowhere is this more apparent, the randomization of characters, than in the 80th anniversary collections of Batman and Robin, too. But, you know, Bat Family. This one does not collect the first appearance of Tim Drake as Robin or Tim Drake as Tim Drake, you know, Tim Drake in general. One of the two. Maybe even both. But it does collect part 2 of this, part 5 of A Lonely Place of Dying, which I'm super confused. You might as well get A Lonely Place of Dying in trade or the Death of a Family trade anyway. So it's like, why did I even get that trade in the first place? Or why did I even get this in the first place? Yeah, you're not getting it for that, but maybe someone is. It's so random. What they should do, and I've said this, I've gone on record to say this, is first of all, cut down on Golden Age. That Shazam one was 50% Golden Age, and there's people complaining about how it wasn't enough. It's like way too much Golden Age. Then focus more on first appearances of characters. And third of all, don't show in the background comic issues that aren't collected in the book itself. In this one, there's this story in here that doesn't even have Batman in it. An entire story, no Batman, no villains, no nothing. It's complete, and Batman's on the cover too. They probably just saw Detective Comics, whatever issue it was, from the Golden Age, and like, yeah, put that one in. I'm not gonna look it up. It was so jarring. The most jarring experience I've ever had reading a comic book was with that Detective Comics one. It was a complete waste of my time. So here, standard size hardcovers, the same size as your standard size hardcover, same size as standard size softcover. Obviously not thicker for most sometimes. This has been discontinued. This is the not the Marvel Premiere. Apparently this came out before the softcover, so you get like it was like 2 weeks earlier, so you got like so that's why it's called Marvel Premiere. Came out before the softcover, which is nice. This has also been discontinued. This is the DC Archives, which no, they should continue with that. They probably could have finished with that. It was kind of overpriced though. This is a standard size new 52 one, same size as a soft cover, just more expensive as hardcover. I recommend getting a hardcover from Amazon, even if it's a few bucks more. If it's like $50 more, maybe it's the softcover. Gamble with that, but as I think I showed you in this cut with Hard Time, it was a crease there. It was a really bad crease. This one is a standard size hardcover, and also is Tales of the Batman, collecting a lot of Ellen Brennard's Batman. Maybe even all of Ellen Brennard's run. This one's Man of Steel. It's collecting all of John Byrne's run in hardcover formats. There's going to be 4 of these. I still have not gotten the third one. I might just wait till Freshman to get the third one, because the fourth one ain't coming out until January. It got delayed. This is a deluxe edition. This is also a deluxe edition. They're bigger than your average hardcover, as you can hopefully see right now. A bit wider, so they're a bit more expensive. And nowhere is that more apparent than with this guy. I think he's thicker. This one's thicker, and I think a bit taller than an omnibus for Dark Prince Charming. I'm glad I have the first part of this, so I only have to read the second part in this guy, because that would be a pain in the ass to read that one like that. This is an oversized hardcover for Marvel. That's another example. This is one that looks like an omnibus, but isn't an omnibus, but it's still a hardcover. It's kind of weird that I didn't make that one an omnibus. And then you get compendiums, which are, especially for Image, are just their way of doing omnibuses. In DC, it's just their way of having a cheaper way of getting the story. Rather than getting a $150 omnibus and get these softcovers, which are in pretty good shape. And then you have the omnibuses. They should always be a hardcover, and they should always be over 500 pages. Resident Alien fails both tests, because he's like 300 pages, maybe even 400, maybe 400. But they still have the audacity to call him an omnibus. When it's not Marvel or DC, they have no rules for what to call an omnibus. This one at least makes sense, because this one is thick. It collects all of Irredeemable in one omnibus, and it's thick. Same for Incorruptible. Makes sense. It's thicker than an Epic collection. Yeah, that too. But thicker than like a Boom Studios like Ultimate softcover. I don't know what you call those. I don't know how Boom Studios does theirs. I'm just going over in general the different types of collected editions. Then you get the omnibuses. This I think is the shortest omnibus I have. I want to say. Oh no, the Spider-Man one is actually. Let's go get that Spider-Man one right. Oh god. Okay, got to bear with me. But yeah, that Daredevil one also, at least the Spider-Man one, I think is all story. That Daredevil one, it's about 100 pages of additional content that's not story. It's just like sketches and art galleries, and that I just skip over. When I'm done with the book with the actual story, I just skip over that. Maybe I'll look at like some variant covers. That's about it. So this is the thinnest omnibus I have. About as big as that Infinity one, right? Yeah. So why didn't do Infinity omnibus? I don't know. I think what they should have done with Infinity is just an omnibus and tried to collect everything at once. There's the two. And the tie-ins too. It only has 22 issues in this guy. And he's still $100 too. And this one you can tell is thicker. And he's same price. Both are the same price. Usually Marvel will have those at $75. I think now they're going to have it at $75. Like from now on. And then DC Omnibus sometimes will be $150 for a damn good reason. This is 1,500 pages, 60 issues, all in one, oversized, very oversized hardcover, both ways, both thick and large, and wide, and tall, all that shit. So on average, a Marvel an omnibus for Marvel and DC is gonna have 30 issues, I would say, on average. 20, so run it down to 25. There's an Avengers one that's very cheap. It's like 15 issues. It's like $75, I think. But it's like very short too. It's like 300 pages. They have a complete collection that's the same size, and just one, not two, just one. And this is a $125 omnibus for Marvel, worth every penny because this is now out of print. Also because it's thick. On average, an omnibus is going to cost you, I would say, $125. It ranges $100 and $125. And then finally, for hardcovers, the Marvel Masterworks. This is the softcover version. This is the hardcover version. I don't recommend getting these. These are $75 to $100 now. Just get the fucking omnibus. It's way thicker and you get way more bang for your buck. And Marvel Masterworks are not out of print. They've been doing those very rapidly. That I hope is that. I hope I went over everything I wanted to go over. Pretty sure I did. Let's end it.